How's it going, guys? Jake from Boatman UK here, and today I'm covering a video on our Vulcan once again, but covering specifically the button layout on the basic and sonar models. So if you're wondering what button does what and how to use the boat, whether you've purchased the boat already or not and you're just intrigued, then hopefully this video shall help. So first off, we'll take a look at the remote and we'll go through the button layout, and then after that we'll take a look at the sonar screen. Here we have our Vulcan Basic or Vulcan Sonar remote. They actually share the same remote, except for the sonar obviously has a bracket on the top for the sonar screen. So this is actually just a basic remote, but I will also be covering the sonar screen in a moment. So starting at the top of the remote, we have this little screen here. This screen is not changeable, it's a fixed screen, and it's just to represent some information for you. So this may seem self-explanatory, but I do like to try and cover these videos in as great a detail as I possibly can. So starting from the top, we have signal strength. Now, signal strength refers to literally the signal strength between the boat itself and the remote, the handset. And you have 5 little blue LED lights here, 5 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. So if you see this on 1, then it's time to not necessarily panic, but consider how far away the boat is from the remote. Now, you get 500 meters of range, so it's not very often where you're probably going to see this plummet massively, but it's just a nice little thing to keep an eye on, just so you can make sure that you're going to retrieve the boat safely. Second, down we have boat power, so that is the battery level in the boat itself. So these Vulcans have twin batteries. You have to have both batteries connected in order to be able to use the boat. You'll also have an LED indicator on the remote, on the boat itself, as well as on the remote. As you can see, this is currently charged to 100%. Below that, we have remote power, which again, battery level for the remote, as we can see, is currently at 80%. It does currently fluctuate between 80 and 100, which normally means it's pretty well at 80%, give or take. And then last, we have high speed, medium speed, and low speed, which is to control the speed of the boat. So if I press the speed button just here, you will see that it will change between each speed setting. So we're now in medium speed, we're now in low speed, and we're back to high speed. High speed is 60 meters per minute, medium speed is 45, and low speed is 30. We'll focus on the buttons now. So again, the nice thing with the Vulcan remote is it does seem self-explanatory, but again, trying to cover everything in as great detail as possible, and without sounding too obvious, you've got your hopper buttons along the top here. Now, obviously, your left hopper is going to open your left hopper individually. Your middle hopper will actually open both hoppers together at the same time. And you have a right hopper as well. So depending if you have a hopper divider, these don't come with a hopper divider, but you can get them aftermarket. Depending on what you're using and what you're doing, you can either open them together or individually. The only button that doesn't apply on this top row here is hook release. Naturally, of course, because this boat is top load rig, you don't have a hook release feature, so this button actually doesn't do anything at all. It does beep when you press it as an input, but it won't actually do anything with the boat at all. Obviously, we've already discussed our speed setting, but just to cover again, that changes the actual speed of the boat. So we usually use these in pretty much high speed most of the time. Where it's handy is if you are using a sonar, so if you have a sonar model or if you're towing a deeper, medium and low speed are actually really handy because you get a much better display and a much better readout. And of course, you don't necessarily want to be flat out when you're doing that. To the right of that, we have forward, which is our auto forward feature. So you can enter auto forward 2 ways. You can either enter auto forward by pressing the button forward just here, or you can press and hold it directionally straight for 5 seconds and it automatically engage auto forward as well. If you press forward and you want it to cancel, just simply press down on the actual control and that will stop it. Of course, this is our joystick to control the boat. Left is left, right is right, so on and so forth. That's pretty easy. Here we have our lamp, great/full, it says. So basically, if we single press it, we'll be able to turn the lights on and off on the boat. If you press and hold, it will turn all of the lights off, including the rear lights. Now, I can't imagine there's probably many reasons why you'd want to do that, but just you can if you want to. Next up, we have shore directional. Now, shore directional is a feature that I never really used, to be honest with you. But essentially, the best way I can describe it, and it is in the user manual, if you have the boat facing, let's say you want the boat facing, or you're heading out that way, you're heading towards that tree, let's say, to explain it simply. If you then press and hold shore directional facing that position, it will save that position. And what it will then do when you single press it is it will turn 180 degrees and head the opposite direction to where you save it. So for example, if you're fishing at a reasonable distance, you could save it. So let's say your rig is set up, or where you're fishing is, let's say, 100 meters over that way. You could obviously single press this once you've saved it and have it automatically return home. So whilst you set your rod down, set up your bobbins, you have it heading back in the right direction. Alternatively, what I usually do is just rotate the boat around manually and then just hit auto forward, but it's a nice little feature to have, and essentially that's the best way I can describe what that does. After this, we have left and right, and the left and right feature is only used when controlling yaw, which I will come to in a moment, so we'll skip these just briefly. In the middle, we have pairing, so you will never need to pair the remote from brand new. Pairing is only ever used if you have a new handset and you need to pair it to the remote. So you should never actually really need to use this button in particular. If for whatever reason the handset does lose pairing or you think it isn't pairing, you would normally make sure the boat is switched off, turn the remote on, press and hold pairing. You will hear the remote start to beep in sequence, at which point you turn the remote on and it should pair for you. But for the most part, you can ignore this. Here we have background light, which it's too bright to probably see outside, but that obviously powers up the background lights for the buttons. Now we have yaw, which I'll come back onto now. So if your boat is tracking out slightly, so let's say, for example, you're sending your boat out and you're finding it's veering right a little bit, which sometimes they do, you can actually adjust it on the yaw control. So what you would normally do, you would press and hold the yaw button, and then you would input left or right. So if it's tracking to the right, you want to input more yaw to the left. So we'd press and hold that, and we'd single press, like so, individual presses at a time. You'll hear a beep to represent each individual input. Now, there is a lot of input. I recommend if you do end up needing to adjust the yaw control, do it by 10 increments at a time. Keep count of how many you've done, just in case you get lost and you need to go back, because you can quite easily get lost. But that is how to adjust your yaw control. Then lastly, we have compass, and compass is absolutely essential if you're using the shore directional feature or auto forward. So what you usually do is you send your boat out in the water, get about 10 meters or so away from the actual boat and the handset itself, and then you press and hold compass. The boat will spin around in circles, and essentially what it's doing is it's learning the directions, it's learning north, south, east and west, and that just ensures that when you're sailing in auto forward or shore directional, that it heads dead straight and tracks completely true. Even in crosswinds, it just helps assist with a straight sail. And then lastly, of course, we have our power button, which is self-explanatory. Press and hold to power off, press and hold to power on. And that covers the remote. So that's pretty much all I wanted to cover on this particular model of boat. The basic and the sonar remote itself, really nice and easy. You can't really go too far wrong. There's no hidden menus or anything like that like there is on the GPS model. These remotes are really nice and easy to read, as you've just seen. Every button is labelled up as to what it does, so you can't go too far wrong. Now, if you are struggling with anything and this video didn't help you, let us know below in the comments if there's anything I've missed or if there's any information that you specifically want on these particular models. Again, as I said earlier on in the video, if you have a GPS or Pro model, I do have a separate video coming out for that. And I will also be releasing some videos pretty soon covering the Act Plus model and also an actual showing off and instruction guide on the boat itself rather than just the remote. So again, hope this video helps and take care.